What's up, YouTube? Wes here. There's a storm that's been brewing for quite some time in the crypto space, and now that we're in this nasty bear market where everything is yucky, it just seems to bring out the worst in everybody and the worst in the world around us. And here's the thing. If you're a crypto influencer, which I really hate that term, let alone both of those put together, what is a crypto influencer, let alone some 20-year-old that's living in their mom's basement that's talking about crypto projects because they think they're going to be the next one to get rich? Well, you should be shaking in your boots if you're a crypto influencer, especially if you're one that takes money to cover projects. You see, I finally think we're starting to see people come down on all of this. And if there's anything that I think about this, I've been going through this in my mind for over a year now of just how nasty this place is. See, if you're in finance, you're in gaming, you're in I don't know, graphic design, all of these awesome fields, you've got a great YouTube channel, you're kind of sitting on easy street. Listen to me, because you're the things you're promoting are really awesome brands. In the crypto space, not so much. So many people get into crypto on YouTube because the CPMs are so much higher. Sometimes they're as much as 2 to 10 times the average payout in ad revenue compared to a lot of all of the others that are out there, especially gaming and things like that. And so you see a ton of people that get into this space and act like they're an expert. What gets worse is the people that are kind of in my range of the 1,000 subs all the way up to 100,000 subs typically get a lot of scummy and scammy advertisers that reach out to them wanting coverage on their channel. And no doubt it can be lucrative. No doubt people are very interested in all of this. In other videos that I've shared on my channel, I've actually gone into some tweets of people that have uncovered producers and YouTube influencers and shown the cost and rates that they have for the projects that they cover. And here's what's really sketchy about that. If you're somebody that's taking money for touting or sharing or pumping up crypto projects, you might be finding yourself in a certain amount of trouble one day, be it financial, be it potentially criminal. These are things you got to worry about. And I would be worried. I've seen this coming for quite some time, and I've definitely been one of those that's I don't want to cover projects for sponsorship. Unless I'm really, really comfortable with the sponsorship, with who they are, how they operate, and kind of how I'm going to make this whole thing work in a way that's not scammy and sketchy, which, side note, that's why I don't take sponsors. I've yet to find any sponsor that's out there that I'm just that comfortable with. And I think it gets worse in the crypto space. And here's why it gets worse. Because there's so many projects that are coming out that are reaching out to Twitter, Telegram, and especially YouTube, trying to get people to influence their projects, to jump into it, to talk about it when they are outright scams. Don't believe me? Take a look at this from CNBC this month. Some social media influencers are being paid thousands to endorse cryptocurrency projects. No doubt. Oh, look at whose face is right here. BitBoy. We're going to talk more about BitBoy here in just a minute. My gosh, if there's one that's probably the worst at all this, I shouldn't say he's the worst. There's probably plenty that are worse, but he's the well-known worst of all of this, right? So I'm going to skip by the rest of the article. I'll put a link if you want to go see it. But yet, literally today from CoinDesk, a very scathing opinion piece came out. This is from David Morris. Opinion: BitBoy has lost his lawsuit the instant he filed it. Now, what are we talking about this lawsuit? Well, let's go take a look at this. Right here is a GoFundMe, and I want you to take a look at this, and I want you to consider giving. Even though this user, this YouTube influencer, doesn't even need the money anymore. So he goes by a Tozy on YouTube, and he's being sued by the one and only BitBoy. The reason he's being sued is because he called him out for a scam. You can actually watch the video that he calls him out on. He even links to Decrypt, which you can go and open that and see the article itself if you want to read more about that particular article about it. But what's interesting is he says that BitBoy says that he's had, uncalculable losses from all of this and emotional damages, and he's suing for $75,000. Well, fast forward today, he's already raised $52,000 just on GoFundMe alone on Web 2, and on Web 3, I think he's already got 6 figures of funds already raised up. In other words, there's a whole bunch of people that said, no, if you're going to get sued for $75,000, as frivolous as it is, and as much as it won't go through, I promise you, you're going to be covered, brother. We've got you, because this is absolutely absolutely ridiculous. 558 people have donated. So this article, the opinion piece, even kind of talks about he's basically just blown himself up like, like with an Acme, mine or whatever, like you see from Looney Tunes, right? And so he goes through all of this. It goes through the defamation piece. He even links to some videos. There was a really, really good one over here from, let's see if I can find it from here, from, where was it? Here it is, from Critical. You can go watch this. I'll put a link in this one as well. But Critical, he's got 11 million viewers, and he absolutely attacks BitBoy from all of this. And, is it reasonable? Does it make sense? Well, I think it does, right? Here's a lot of reasons why it does. Oh, here's the 100K. So Itosi actually got 100K over from Kobe. If you guys don't know Kobe, here is Kobe right here. So he actually sent him 100K in stable coin just to continue to say, hey, we got you, man. You're covered. But here's what's interesting. So this comes from Zach XBT. I've covered this user before on my YouTube channel. I think they're actually the ones that shared the original influencer who's being paid what. And some of the amounts were just staggering. And BitBoy was on that list, if I remember correctly. And so what he does, he's like, hey, I got bored. So I just picked a bunch of the projects that he has been repping. And I wanted to see what the ROI was over 30 days and over 90 days. And so you can look, almost all of them are negative. Now, let me be clear here, right? I'm not saying that he's saying all of these are scams, nor am I saying that he was particularly like covering all of these, that he got money, BitBoy got money for each of these. I don't know that. Even some I've seen on here that I've covered. I've covered MetaHero. I've covered Kadena. I've covered, there's some others on here, Secret. I've got people that I know in a lot of these projects. And so I'm covering some of these too, and they would have gone just equally as negative, right? And so my point with all of this is not to say that, he's completely wrong on all of these, or he's covering all of those are scam projects. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying this is great data to look at to say, this is why you don't listen to YouTubers. When they talk about projects, they're just talking about either A, what they're interested in, hopefully, or B, things that they're being paid to talk about. And you can't trust that stuff at all. You just can't. This is why I joke, but I'm serious when I say it. Don't listen to crypto YouTubers. If you do, you're going to go broke. How do I know that? This right here. Imagine you put a bunch of money into this. Obviously, these are short term, right? 30 in 90 days, right? A quarter of the year. But these don't go well, right? And of course, yes, the market's gone down, right? So I'm just saying all that to say, man, don't listen to YouTubers. Listen to them for the information, for the entertainment, for the journey of it, but do not listen to them for financial advice or even to find the crypto projects you think that you might be interested in. And the real thing is, and BitBoy has even admitted to this, along with many other crypto influencers, they'll take money to cover a project and they won't tell you that they took the money. And so what does that mean? That means you're looking at something like, wow, this is great. It doesn't seem to be sponsored. It must be truly, innocent. No, oftentimes it's not. So where do I fall out on all of this? I think it's fair to say I like covering projects that I like to cover. And the good thing is I've got some really good, well-paying jobs. I don't need the money for YouTube. I do YouTube for the fun of it and for the influence of it to build a greater network. I don't need the money. That's why I don't take advertisers. I was looking through my email just the other day from all of the people, the projects that are reaching out. Did you know 99% of them, it feels like, are all projects I've never heard of? So even if I wanted to take funding, the amount of, for sponsorships, the amount of due diligence that I would have to do into every single project is mountainous. And this is why I envy you folks that are in gaming or graphic design or finance or fashion or anything else that's out there. I envy you because you have the ability to take sponsorships from well-known brands and you don't have to worry about that so much. What about YouTubers that are not doing this? That are taking money, that are doing nefarious things? You should be shaking in your boots. BitBoy, you should be shaking, and so should the rest of all of you that are doing this. Not only is it scammy, not only is it unethical, yes, you may be making some money from it, but I have one thing to show you that should cause you a fair amount of fear, and it is this right here. It's from the SEC. This is actually SEC law, so this is not their site, but this is talking about touting of stocks. Now, I am not a prosecutor. I am not a lawyer, anything like that. But look at this. The SEC has been pursuing those who illegally tout stocks on the internet for over 20 years, but the conduct continues. The typical use case in a series of fines and the entry of a permanent injunction against the promoter who failed to follow the anti-touting rules under the Securities Act of 1933. In other words, you better not be touting blowing up moon pumping projects because, as we've seen here, we may eventually see regulators start to come after some of these folks, especially the ones that are large and maybe even the ones that have never been heard of before. So, how do you stay safe in an environment like this? Super simple. Quit taking sponsorships of projects you don't know about that are paying you money, ones that are sketchy. You just can't do it. There's way too much risk. I'm not doing it. Neither should you. Follow the projects, talk about the projects you like because you want to, not because you have incentive to gain from them. And I think you'll be much better off. So, what does that mean for me? It means this. Until I'm comfortable with projects, I'm not going to cover them for pay. I am not going to let them sponsor me. And I'd love to be in a more happy place where I'm just having sponsors outside of the crypto space. So hear me. If you are a advertiser of some kind and you're not in the crypto space and you want to advertise on this channel, I am wide open to talking to you about that. I'm just not going to put my name and my influence behind crypto projects that may completely nosedive and tank not only me, but an audience that's watching me, and my reputation is at stake. And honestly, as I close, that's the most important piece there is to all of this, is my reputation. I do it not to moon pump, not to make $1 million, but to do it for my reputation. So all the rest of you guys from BitBoy and all the rest of you scammy ones that are out there, enough is enough. I hope you're scared. I hope you quit. And by the way, don't try to sue me. I'm just preaching the truth here. There is no disparagement. There is no defamation here. I am clearly just speaking the truth. This whole world of crypto has got to get cleaned up. And until it does, you've got to be watching. You've got to be careful, and you've got to overlook every step that you make, because that's the slimy world of crypto that we are currently in. Sorry to say it, but it's true. Thanks.